What's up, guys? Honey Alex with you here, bringing you the final season of Fairytail review, episode 7. Boy, oh boy, we have a lot to discuss in this one. First of all, we got a nice, good backstory finally on Zareth. This episode starts off with him just sleeping on the grass, and he has this weird backflash of his past when he was in school and he had handed a letter in to his professors, or teachers I should say, speaking about a heavy topic, which is something people don't like to talk about in real life and death. And they told him it was a good theory, but this type of talk is not discussed here, and it's actually against their law. So he was kind of like told to be on the hush about it. But as we continue to get his backstory, he continues to talk about his idealism of life and death and how they collide and how they are one. And we also find out that he created the R system, the one that Jalal wanted to use. He created that. And we find out something else that he created too, that the ethers and stuff, that part, which are the magic cubes for magic. He discovered that as well. And he knew about second origin before anyone else did as well. So Zareth was a wizard way, way beyond his time. We also seen how he got his curse and what it does specifically. His curse, the way it works is that the more that he loves something that's living, it will strip that life force from that object. So the more he cares about life, the more life that he will strip from the nearby things around him. It could be animals, plants, fishes, people, whatever, mammal, camel, whatever. All that, anything that's living that's near him that he likes can definitely be stripped of life. Unless he puts his emotion in check and not cares for it. And that's what drives him kind of cuckoo, Sally. Which makes sense because anyone who's going through that will eventually go cuckoo. And the sad part is, he's immortal, so he doesn't age and he can't die. So it just makes things even worse. But then after his flashback, we also discovered that his power first activated in school, so he killed all his teachers and students and predecessors and all that. They all died. He's walking around and he's killing everything around him. That's when he discovered the secret that if he doesn't care about life, those things won't die yet. And he did this, and he just continued to study until he, discovered the ethers. And he made the demons to kill him, but those couldn't work. And then he used Natsu. And I'm not sure, I have to read this again but I have to look this up in the Fairytail and Fairytail 2014 animes, the first two parts. I'm not sure if this was stated or not. I think it was hinted, but never stated into this episode. But Zareth's full name is Zareth Dragneel, and he's related to Natsu. He's actually his older brother, and he's the one who made him into E&D. Now I know E&D, Zareth, Natsu, Dragneel, they're really established in the anime and manga years back that that's what Natsu's full name is. But I don't believe in the anime was stated yet, or not, that they were brothers. So that was nice to know. That's a new confirmation. And you see in the thumbnail, he's holding on to his brother's test tube, or egg pod, I guess you can say. But after that, after all this dreaming and backflashes and stuff, he decides to go visit someone that he has a meeting with. And we've seen who this person is. And it's the human form of the Agdologia. And he tells him, basically, should I join you to destroy humans, or should I join the humans to destroy you? I thought it was this simple, but I don't know what path to really pick. But you're looking for a challenge anyways, so let's have some fun with this. Dragon versus human versus immortal. And I'm like, whoa, Zareth's throwing challenges out here. Like, this is not the type of man that you throw a challenge to, literally. Or beast, I should say. But Zareth, when he told that, he looks pretty like twisted, as you can tell, because, everything he's been through. At the Logia, it looked happy. It was like, ooh, fighting time. But that was just a crazy first half. And this was just all the first half. We haven't get to the second half yet. But the second half of the episode was basically switching to Lucy and Natsu and Wendy, who was going back to Mongolian, the town where the Fairytail goes at. And they go in there, and Lucy looks kind of like worried a little bit and out of place. And they keep asking her, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And she's blowing the question away. But then when they finally get close to the gill, like a block away, she pauses and she lets out everything. She was like, I was excited when you told me you wanted to revive the gill. I sent out letters. We did this crazy adventure with Avatar, which were just worshippers, and they couldn't gather no information on Zeref and whatever. And she's going on this tangent, and she's like, but it's been a whole year, and everyone has been forced to find their own path in life. I'm scared. What if, we go back and nobody really wants to go back, and there was no one there? And that was tearing up Lucy's mind, like the what if. Like, what if none of our friends want to come back to the Guild? What if they all find their own path in life and they just want to continue that? And say Fairytail was just the past. And that scared her a lot, because you guys have to remember that in the original Fairytail, the first path, before 2014 Fairytail, Lucy's home was never really a home. After her mom died in a young age, her dad quickly started to change. The way he act, the way he talk, it's like his wife's death just numbed him. And he kind of took that anger and frustration out on Lucy. He made her study. She was always in studying. She always had to be on top notch. She went to the best schools. Even though she was a rich girl, the life that she lived wasn't a pampered one. It was a pampered one, but it wasn't like she actually had time and fun to do what she wanted. Everything was work, work, work. No breaks, just work, 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 sleep, work, work, work. It wasn't like she had any time to actually build up fun moments. And even when it was her birthday and she was trying to, her dad was a jerk about it. So keep this in mind. Lucy's life wasn't really an easy one after her mom's passing. And her mom passed, I believe, when she was 3 or 4 years old. So from then until she was 18 and she left, that's a good about 15, 16 years, stuck in that solitude life. And even though Lucy's a little bit older now, you have to remember that basically her life, she's older now, but more of her life was focused in there than outside. So Fairytail was the only good place where she had not just sad memories, but she had happy and fun memories as well. And she met a lot of people. So that bothered her drastically. And it was like she was just too scared to go back and have her heart shattered and finding out that nobody cared. Until a familiar voice popped up and, put her arm around her and hugged her. And we saw Kana. And Kana, she's like, "Hey, I'm happy to see you, Lucy." And then she's happy to hi to Happy and Natsu and them. And Wendy and Charlotte was there. And she's like, "Hey, Lucy, I got your letter." And she told Lucy something that since she was raised in the Guild, when the Guild disbanded last year, she didn't know what to do with herself. And I think in the manga they clarify this more. But she was in a really bad situation. She was depressed, drunk. She didn't know where to go. She was technically homeless. She struggled to find Guilders to try to get back on her feet and learn some stuff. She eventually did, but it was a struggle for her. And she even said in this episode herself, I learned a lot in this past year. And I don't regret it. But thanks to your letter, you rekindled, and all of us are now back home. And Lucy kind of smiled, and she was like, "All of us?" And kind of grabbed her hand and started power walking. And Lucy's like, "Well, where are we going? What happened?" And she took her back to where the Guild used to be at. And we saw a lot of familiar faces there. We saw Romeo. We saw Waka. We saw Romeo's dad. We saw Loki. We see the other chick that they found, who was a reincarnation of the snake from Cobra. We see her. She learned magic now. We seen Alex, Bisky, and the other one, the daughter Aska, the lady with the green hair and her husband, who are both sharpshooters. We see them and the daughter. We see Mary Jane, Elfman, Lysana, Warren, Max, Rebellis. We've seen all these characters, not to mention Julia, Work, Vertor, just a whole bunch of like the main cast of, and Noob. We've seen all of them, and Lucy's seeing all of them and talking to them, and then she just breaks down crying out of like pure happiness that her dream didn't get shattered, and it was a very beautiful and emotional moment. Even this first half of Zareth, that was kind of emotional, if you really think about it, what he had to go through in life and what happened to his family, which they ain't clarified it completely, but later on we will get the full clarification. But Zareth didn't live a good life either. But getting back to the Fairytail girl, Lucy just broke down crying. You have Marijan comforting her, just patting her on the head and hugging her. Then you have the ending with Natsu putting up the Fairytail flag, all beat up and scratched up, but you still see the symbol of the fairy in there, and that's how it ended. And it was a really good episode. I liked it. Can't wait for next week's episode when they rebuild the guild and find a secret that only the master is supposed to know. And we've seen a quick glimpse of Makaraj, just the back, but we'll probably see him next episode real quick. But this was a great episode. But yeah, I can't wait for next week's episode. Can't wait to see some hands getting thrown. Natsu and his people versus Aerith and his people versus the Actilogia versus whoever else steps in. Things are gonna pop off real cool next week. But that's all I have for you guys today. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified of everything I post and share. Make sure you share with your family and friends and all your social sites. And don't forget to comment down below what you think is going to happen next week and what you liked or didn't like about this episode. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.